why did this okay, so we're gonna go ahead. Go ahead and get going. All right, guys. So we have reached the finish line. It's bittersweet. I'm glad to know what happened, but it's like, oh my gosh, we reached the finish line.
We want more.
We want more. So, yeah. So tonight we're going to be covering chapter 19 through 30. I'm going to do a recap. Hi, Gloria. I'm going to do a recap for those who have requested for me to still do a recap, which is fine. I'm going to really summarize. So some of the fun parts that you probably feel like, oh my gosh, you didn't mention that. I'm just trying to get to the meat. I might miss a few sides. So I'm going to apologize in the beginning, but you'll get the gist of it. And you already have the book, so you can go back and read it. All right. Well, before we get started, I'm just going to formally introduce everyone and myself. My name is Takesha Edwards, and I am the owner of Blueprint to Events. Blueprint to Events is a full-service event planning company. We do weddings, social events, and corporate events, specializing in event design. And with this current global pandemic, that has kind of put a halt to doing physical events. So we've decided to do virtual events. And if you know me personally, you know I like to have a good time and have fun. And I like to have fun with a purpose. So to promote reading during this time that we're quarantined home, I thought it'd be cool to kind of do a virtual review of books. And starting with, dun, 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 Joy Happened.
Yay.
I know, right? I picked a good one, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
Joy Happened was written by none other than our Stef Williams. Stef, would you like to say hello? Hello. And Stef Williams is an avid reader with a passion for writing. She spent more than 20 years in the communication legal fields working with notable law firms in the Washington, D.C. area. Additionally, she serves as a director for the USA National Miss Pageantry. She is a co-founder and partner in Sister Moments, which is a marketing and promotional company. She earned a Bachelor's of Arts degree from the University of North Carolina in Greensboro with a major in communications. Go Spartans. And over the years, she's written many unpublished works. Joy Happened is her first novel. She has another novel coming up called Love Calls. I cannot wait. She's a native from North Carolina. She's currently residing in Maryland with her two children, Kennedy and Trent. So that's just a little bit about Stef for those who are tuning in with joining us for the first time. And now I want to give a quick shout out to my cool panelists here. We have Wanda from the DMV, okay. Alex, DMV. Miss Pat, FLA. Oh, this is fun. All right, Nene from Houston, Texas. Gloria, Atlanta in the house. And Joie and Barbara, DMV. We are all here and all ready to get started. So I'm gonna do a little bit partial speed read, but I'm gonna be clear. But I'm just super excited to get to the discussion. So starting with chapter 19, it's entitled "Plans Are Made to Be Broken." You know, I like to give it a little title myself. I called it By Della. Now, in this chapter that Della and Preston actually reside in different homes. I know we had talked about that in our last meeting. So, I didn't know how you guys felt, but that was good news to me. Della decides to pay Preston a visit, and she wanted to talk to him about his attitude since he returned from DC, his trip from DC. And on page 160, she even goes on to tell Preston that this has got to stop and asked him how long was he gonna mourn. I like that, mourn over Joy. Preston's response surprised Della. He told her that she can pretty much take his attitude or leave it, considering that she initially walked out on him and did not consider how it affected him. Della, in an emotional state, reminds Preston that she has apologized 100 times over and suggested that they should move forward with building a life together, considering Joy isn't signs that she wanted Preston. The conversation between Preston and Della gets pretty intense because, of course, they don't see eye to eye. The argument ends with Preston putting Della out of his home and telling her, excuse my French, go to hell. Then in chapter 20, which is entitled The Morning After, Preston finds himself struggling to stick to the agreement that he and Joy had made after their passionate weekend in DC when he showed up to her salon. Joy thought it would be a good idea for them to take some time to evaluate their situations without any, interference. So they can kind of cut out communication for each other they cut out communication for about 3 weeks. She, meaning Joy, needed to figure out what she was going to do with her relationship with Zeke. And of course, Preston needed to figure out how he was going to officially break it off with Della. In making this agreement, Joy somewhat informed Preston that, even though she did not love Zeke the way she loved him, she would still spend the rest of her life with Zeke and be perfectly content with that. In my inner Nene from The Real Housewives of Atlanta. Contrary to what Joy said, considering Joy and Zeke were not married and engaged, Preston considered that if he played his cards right, there's still a possibility that him and Joy could be together. Chapter 22 is entitled Show and Tell. I call it Della the Prankster. This chapter kind of opens up describing how Joy spent, spending more time at the spa, kind of solely, focusing on work to settle her thoughts about Zeke and Preston. One day, while Joy was at work, the salon phone was ringing before opening hours. And this was, unusual. Joy, in her normal professional manner, answered the call. And the caller asked Joy, and I quote, "Tell me, Joy, does your man know that you are fucking around with a married man? I am sure he would be interested in this bit of information," end quote. The caller then ends the call by saying, "Hey, you," and then hangs up. Of course, Joy is stunned, but was able to put two and two together to figure out that the caller had to be no one other than the deceitful Della. Joy is beyond angry, like anyone would be, and she needs to talk to someone. So she immediately calls Tyra and fills her in on the latest drama with Della and this recent call. Tyra, like Joy, was stunned at the audacity of Della and suggested that Joy calls Preston ASAP. Chapter 22, A Woman's View. When Joy called Preston to let him know that Della had been cutting up again, of course, Preston is taken aback by this new information and he apologizes to Joy and tells her that he is at a loss for words for Della's behavior. And on page 179, Preston lets Joy know that he will find out for sure if it was Della that called and report back to her what he finds out as soon as possible. Joy lets Preston know that if she'd known about his separation situation in the beginning stages of their relationship, she could have been better prepared for something like this with Della. Chapter 23, I'm kind of going to skip over that because it's just pretty much kind of how Joy's reflecting on her thoughts, and two of her clients got into it at her salon. Moving on to chapter 24, when it rains, sometimes a thunderstorm will follow. The deranged Della in this chapter pays a visit to Joy's salon disguised as a client by the name of Miss Tyler. Keep in mind, Joy has never seen Della before, so she has no idea that this so-called Miss Tyler is Della. After some, brief pleasantries, Joy begins performing what she calls a master massage on Della or Miss Tyler. All of a sudden, Della yells, "Get your effing hands off me." Of course, Joy is totally caught off guard by this, and then Della goes on to say, and this is all on page 189, So you are the joy in Preston's life. I know you have been effing around with my husband, and I intend to put a stop to it right here and right now. Joy composes herself and responds to Della in a very matter-of-fact way by letting her know that, in so many words, she is hipped to her game, does not appreciate her prank calls, harassment, and even the audacity of showing up at her salon just to taunt her. Joy then instructs Della to get out of her salon, never come back, and be sure to pay for her services she received on the way out. That was gangster. Anyway, let me keep going. I don't want to put my comments in. After Della leaves, Joy calls Preston to let him know what just went down between her and Della again. During this conversation, Joy finds out that Preston hadn't even confronted Della about Joy suspecting that Della had been the one making the prank phone calls to the salon. I mean, he's dragging his feet here. Joy, of course, is devastated that Preston is choosing not to deal with Della regarding her harassment towards Joy. She just cannot understand how Preston could just stand by there and not say anything to Della about her behavior. Chapter 25, I do. Zeke plans a romantic dinner at Olivia's, remember his restaurant, Olivia's in DC, and proposes to Joy with a 3-carat diamond ring. Joy ecstatically says yes. In chapter 26, it's entitled It Is What It Is. Joy calls Tyra to inform her that Zeke proposed and went over all the details. Tyra screams with excitement and is so happy about, Joy and Zeke's engagement. They both go on to, talk about the plans for the wedding and letting the other SNF sisters know about the good news. But like a good friend, Tyra asked Joy, when did she plan on telling Preston about her recent engagement? Joy knew Tyra was not going to let her get away with not bringing up Preston. Joy confessed to Tyra that she would tell Preston soon, but her feelings for Preston at this point doesn't matter because Zeke loves her and he wants to marry her. In chapter 27, entitled He Loves Me Not, Preston decides to pay Della a visit to formally discuss dissolving their marriage. Preston tells Della in this conversation that it's over and he wanted to apologize for his recent unfair actions towards her. Remember, he put her out the house. In that same conversation, he makes sure to tell Della that he was in love with Joy and her actions had ruined any possible chance of a relationship that he could have had with Joy. On page 211, this kind of hit me deep. Della responds to Preston by saying, I guess we are alike in that regard, in love with someone we can't have. Oh, poor Della. At the end of this chapter, Della finally realizes that what she had with Preston was finally over. In chapter 28, entitled Timing is Everything, Zeke is having some unsettling feelings when he should be on top of the world since he, proposed to Joy. And Zeke then decides to pay Joy a visit. And she noticed something is off with him, something's bothering him. Well, he then drops the verbal bomb to Joy and confesses that Deidre is pregnant. This is a major concern regarding Zeke because he did not envision himself of having a child out of wedlock. And in the book, you hear him talk about with his grandmother and all this stuff, how he was brought up. So this was a big deal for him. And however, he was deeply in love with Joy. So he was at a crossroads, as what to do. And Joy knew this about Zeke, and we find out even in chapter 29, which is entitled All Cried Out, she felt as if her heart was crushed all over again. Now, chapter 30, Dr. Damon. I was not ready for this, but let me go ahead on. In chapter 30, the church, Mount Reed Amy Zion Church, you remember the church that Joy, and Zeke and Deidre and them all went to, was hosting a seminar that dealt with the various issues faced by men in today's society from a woman's point of view. All right, and I'm gonna let Miss Erica on in. Joy and Zeke had planned on attending this event before the recent issues occurred. They was going to attend this event together. Joy decided she was just going to go ahead and go anyway by herself. Why not? There, she ran into Dr. Damon. Now, remember, Dr. Damon is a mutual friend of Joy and Zeke's. After they exchanged pleasantries, hello, kind of caught up with each other. Dr. Damon noticed, something was going on with Joy. So he asked her about Zeke, what was going on in the status of their relationship. Joy thought about it and she decided to fill him in what was going on. In the end, Dr. Damon told Joy not to worry and that everything is not always what it seems. They said their goodbyes and went their separate ways. As Damon was leaving, he reflected on the conversation he had just had with Joy. And he was a bit confused by what she, had just told him. Keep in mind, as what she just told him, keep in mind, Dr. Damon actually was, Deirdre's gynecologist. And he could have sworn he had renewed her birth control last month. Okay. So, I'm going to stop there for a minute because now is a perfect time for us to take a sip of whatever we are drinking on. So, Facebook, tell me what you're drinking on. Those of you who are watching on Facebook, excuse me, tell me what you're drinking on tonight. And while you, I'll give you time to type your responses. Panelists, tell me what you're drinking on tonight. Starting with you, Stephanie, what are you sipping on tonight?
Joseph Handler Sweet Red. It's a German red blend. It's really, really great.
Woo! Mm-hmm. Holding it like it's great too. Wanda?
Just some red. I'm not going to say red what.
Alex, you like you sipping something yummy.
Lemonade and gin.
Hi, Erica.
Hi.
All right. Miss Pat, what you drinking on?
I'm living through y'all. Every time y'all tell me what y'all drinking, I'm like,
Pinot Grigio with frozen strawberries.
All right now.
Fancy.
I like that. Gloria.
I'm drinking Manischewitz.
Okay, I don't think I've ever heard of that one.
She's too young. She don't know.
I'm too young for that.
She's too young. Yeah. She don't know that one.
I'm trying to make sure. Jua.
Old people.
But it's not alcohol.
Okay, that's okay. We know that you are, got the little one. So
right.
Yeah.
So I am drinking the same as Miss Stephanie, Sweet Red.
All right, lovely.
From the
I
bottom.
didn't want y'all to see that my glasses right now. No judgment.
Miss Harris.
Oh, I am drinking Gift Red Blend.
Ooh.
Okay.
Miss Crump.
What's the name?
I am drinking Stella Rosa.
Black.
Y'all got some yummy stuff tonight.
Yes.
Save the best for last.
Huh?
Save the best for last.
Save the best for last.
Yeah.
Let me see here. I see Elsa Reed, Wine Cooler Bahama Mama. She is too cute. All right. So we have recapped chapters 19 through 30. All right. The questions that I have for you guys, and I want you to kind of ponder on, think about this. Joy is in kind of a dilemma, right? Zeke lacks passion, but he represents and possesses love, stability, and consistency within a life partner, right? Preston makes Joy heart flutter with butterflies. but comes with the baggage of a marriage not yet dissolved and a mentally unstable and resentful wife, whom Preston doesn't seem to want to disconnect from. Theme. Between Zeke and Preston, who is the logical, loving choice for Joy, in your opinion, at this moment?
I'm going to
Who
go
wants
with,
to go first?
I'm sorry.
I said, who wants to go first?
I'm going to go.
Yes, come on, Miss Pat.
I'm going to say Preston, and I'm going to say that because life is too short to play it safe all the time.
Woo.
If you want, you go in any relationship, you're going to deal with some issues. They're going to come from somewhere, even if they don't come in the beginning, they're going to show up. So I would go for my real love. That way, I mean, I got something to work with.
Right.
Hey, you can't argue with that. Wanda, I see you have this this smirk smile on your face. What do you think?
So I was Team Preston for the first 3/4 of the book. But I think yeah, because I kind of lost a little for Preston because he wasn't it has taken him too long to be honest and to address the issues with Della. And I think that because he didn't defend Joy, he basically, I mean, he was upset, but he didn't have the courage, that's the word, to
Like that courage,
defend her. That really bothered me a lot.
Yeah.
For a lot of reasons, maybe more personal than anything, but for a lot of reasons. I think that's important. And so, I'm kind of torn because if you're going to settle and you can be happy with a Zeke type person without some of the passion and as Pat said, you're willing to work on some things, and maybe Zeke's the one you work with versus Preston just doesn't seem to know how to make up his mind. He might be a great lover, but he just doesn't seem to be passionate. He doesn't seem to be able to man up when it's time to man up. So that's my view.
That's your view? Yep. And you know what? When I was thinking of this question, I had in my mind, like Preston represents when it's good, it's really good. But when it's bad, it's really bad. All right, Alex, what's your take?
I have to agree with Wanda. I think it says a lot about somebody who has a big secret that he's keeping from somebody. The person finds out from the other person, not from him.
Right.
And then is consistently getting harassed by this person. But it doesn't seem like, the fact that he didn't step up and actually confront Della about the phone calls, and then his response didn't seem like, oh, I'm gonna do something about this, when Joyce said, oh, she showed up at my salon. It kind of seemed like, well, great, now I actually have to make a decision.
Right.
Because, the literal is hitting the fan at this point. And oh God, and now I have to actually do something about this. And I kind of just felt that while he was warranted in telling her to get out of his house and that kind of thing, I just kind of feel like Wanda said, he's kind of hot and cold about how he wants to handle the situation. And then when Joy's just like, you need to make a decision, and Della's like, you need to make a decision.
Right.
He's kind of like, I don't know what to do.
Right.
And I think, sometimes playing it safe with Zeke could be in the best interest of Joy, just because, minus the fact that now he is a baby on the way, supposedly, and that kind of thing. But, I think the fact that Joy knows what to expect with Zeke consistently. They've known each other for a while. It's not like, minus the baby, there are any surprises.
Right.
And he's been honest with her, forthright the entire time. I was definitely like Preston all the way. He's a wonderful guy, amazing. And then as we've started to see more of his character, and specifically with how he handles big decisions, I'm a little iffy on him. I'm excited to just kind of see what happens in the future. But I think I'm more on the side of Zeke just because of consistency and honesty.
Okay. I like that. I like that.
So I have a retort.
Go ahead, Miss Pat.
All right. So unfortunate when it comes to a brother and sister situation.
I like the emphasis on that.
We're going to have to put it this way, because what we typically do as women, Black women, we spoil our sons and we raise our daughters. And so therefore, what we have to deal with in the field of men are a bunch of spoiled men. So typically, if there are trouble or problems in your family, the sister has to step up. You can keep telling them and keep telling them until you have to get your broomstick and get it done.
Period.
Touche.
Well, I will say this. I know, right? I will say this to piggyback on Miss Pat. The word selfish kept running through my head when I was thinking about Preston, because it was like he was only doing, I think his intentions were good, but he was only doing things that made him feel comfortable. Like the little comment about, I got this $1 million deal. Nobody's going to make me miss money behind this.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like if this is the woman, she tells you this woman is, Della is bold and has the audacity enough to come. First of all, they are not in the same state. So there was some travel plans made.
Mhm.
And she showed up at the salon, and then like, yeah, you took it serious, but I think that kind of put, a little bit of some of the icing. I'm not gonna say the whole cake is ice, but some of the icing on the cake for Joy, because his urgency for her and to, rectify this, she feels like she's by herself. She's alone, like, hello,
But Keisha, what do you think about the fact that even when he went back to Della to say it was over, that he was so apologetic?
Mhm.
It was just, and so to me, that was again another sign of insecurity, lacking the courage, it's more my fault,
Weakness.
just real,
Yes.
weakness,
And the fact that he gave her a hug, like if I'm gonna cut something off of somebody, I ain't touching that person.
yeah.
There's a reason.
Right.
There's a reason why we're at that point saying this is the end of it. I'm not gonna be as cordial to be like, yeah, come here, let me give you a hug.
But let me ask you this, Allie, do you think he did that because he knows she crazy? Now, you got to ease
I
out.
mean, so
That's
yeah,
right.
Oh,
as someone who has a crazy ex,
okay.
I can see why he did that to kind of appease the beast inside of
Yeah.
her or outside of her at that point, because good Lord, she showed up. I want to just say though, the fact that she went through the entire massage and then said something, I was like, girl.
I think
Get those
that takes
services.
Joy off. Yeah, because she was just like, and make sure you pay on your way out.
Mhm.
Okay.
Entree double.
Right. Got the top of the line service, and then you're going to try to come serve me about a man that I didn't even know was married. Have a seat.
Right.
All right. So, Jawad, I see, looks like you holding in a smile there. What's your take? Can you let me see.
She's
Oh,
like,
I'm here. I
You
got
got that? Okay.
If I had to make a choice, it would be Zeke.
You would be,
like-
okay.
Yeah, for sure. I don't have, who has time for Preston's game? Anybody got time for that?
She said, ain't nobody got time for that. All right, Nene, you smirking over there. What's going on?
actually, I don't think I would choose either one.
Ooh, okay.
Because she's already getting ready to go into some more drama with Zeke and Deidre with this pregnancy, not pregnancy. So
Yeah.
it's like she just went through drama with Preston, and now you're gonna go through drama with Zeke too. Like Joie said, ain't nobody got time for that.
Anybody got time for that?
Or neither one of them. So no, I don't think I would go with either one.
Either one.
That's why I can't wait for the next book to see what Stef is gonna write.
I know. You can't even. Anyway, look, that's a whole different.
Yeah, exactly.
segment. Miss Crump, what you got going on over there?
Hey, girl. I'm with Nene. I don't think I want either one of them. But, if I had to pick between Zeke and Preston, I probably would go with Zeke because Preston is just, he's too wishy-washy, and you know, he keeps giving Della, he kept giving Della hope because he kept going back to her. So
Yes.
it's like, how you gonna break up something when you keep giving somebody hope?
You
So,
keep
you know,
giving that fishing line. Yeah.
yeah. So, you know, I didn't like that about him, and I didn't like the support. So if I had to pick one, I'd pick Zeke.
You had to pick one. That would be your poison.
But these are some conniving women.
Woo!
Okay.
Well, one thing I didn't like is that both of them had to have something on the side when they weren't with Joy.
Yeah.
So Zeke had to get Deidre
Nobody could
involved.
be alone. Yeah.
And Preston had to keep fooling around with Della while, you know. So, I mean, you know,
Yeah.
the loyalty makes a difference.
It does.
And neither one of them were loyal. I mean, this thing wouldn't have happened with Deidre. Well, first of all, it probably didn't really happen, but, you know.
But the other part though is you see how he chose, how Zeke went back to what his, you know, the way he was raised, and that he would never have a child to be in the same situation he was in, as opposed to saying to Joy, let's figure out how to do this together. Because
Right, he was
already
kind of
made that
like,
commitment.
yeah.
So to Nini's point, my thought is the same thing. I mean, if you had to make it, I wouldn't choose either one either, because they both lack some man up power that a strong woman needs. I mean, she, you know, to say, you know, I just because you don't want them to be a single, you don't want them to grow up without their father. There's a way for a father to be in your life. You don't necessarily have to be the husband. So, and again, whether it's true or not, we'll see.
Whether it's true.
I guess you didn't ask Steph, but will we know in the next?
I know. Look,
He's not
trust
telling
me.
us. It's a secret.
I'm gonna corner her in a minute.
Uh,
So Gloria, I
well-kept
don't think
secret.
we've heard from you or Miss Erica. Which one? I don't know who wants to go first, but I need to know if you're on Team Zeke or Team Preston.
I'm gonna be Team Zeke.
Gloria, I'm shocked. You know what, Gloria, I'm shocked. If I had to guess, look at Steph. It's not your turn, Steph.
You can't cheat.
It's not your turn.
Your turn.
Gloria, I am
Yeah.
shocked because if I had to guess with you, I would have guessed Preston.
Why is that?
You're kind of fun and bubbly, and it seemed like you would have went with your, I don't want to say heart, because Joy did love Zeke, but it seemed like you kind of would have went with Preston. I don't know why. It just, if I had to flip a coin, which one you would pick, I would have picked Preston. But go ahead and tell me why you picked Brother Zeke.
I like to keep people guessing.
Okay, so why'd you pick Zeke?
I don't know. I to me, Preston had a lot of drama, and I think that he couldn't control Della, and I ain't interested in no. I'm not interested in nobody that can't. I'm. You know what? Maybe control might be a strong word, but.
I get what you're saying. Like,
But
he
to me, when you have somebody and they just go wilding out like her, showing up at people's salons and stuff like that,
dangerous.
that should, to me, that shows something about the man to me. And so I don't think the man has control. And I'm the type of person where I like the man to be in control, but not really in control, you know. And
Okay.
you know, behind him stands a strong woman.
Right.
Exactly. I don't have time for people that was doing things that Della did. I don't have time to go sit in somebody's salon and you know, to me it's borderline stalking to me.
Yes, dangerous.
So, and it could be dangerous.
Yeah.
You don't know the other person. That it could have went sideways, but thankfully it didn't. The only thing she needed to do was pay her bill and tip and leave me a tip and get out. Stuff like that.
So he said, don't forget my tip.
And don't forget to leave a tip. And because of that, I don't want. I'm gonna pass on Preston. Preston.
Okay. Okay.
I hate to call a
understood.
man weak, but he just showed, a side of him. And so I'd rather go with Zeke because Zeke was like, he was nonchalant, so.
Right.
And so if I was going to choose one, it would be Zeke. But in reality, probably neither one of them.
Okay. So Gloria is Team Zeke. Erica?
I am another for Zeke, but too, I'm like the other ones who said that neither one, but if the world only had those two to choose from, I would go with Zeke. And the reason I said that is because, and I can tell you, I didn't get to the end of the book, so I wanted to hear everything, what happened. So that's why I still joined on today. But hearing about babies and all of that stuff. But the reason I would have chose Zeke is because for me, I'm gonna go what I know best in life now. I think because she knew Zeke the longest, and I think the more you know someone, the better that you will,
It does make
the more you know about somebody, the better I think you'll end up in the long run.
Surprises.
Versus Preston, who she, met and didn't have much, and I think that's why so many things that happened to her that he did, and she was surprised at just because you didn't know him. You went from the looks and the sexiness and the way he could do this and that.
All of that.
The boring Zeke that goes back, but like I said, when you have that history with somebody and you know pretty much how the thing, but he would have been the choice if I would have had to, but with the drama from the both of them,
Zeke was the more.
Yeah. I say if I had to pick my poison, well, I hate to down these guys. Here's the thing. It's like they had some issues, but I think with Della's being so extreme, that look at Stephanie. Stephanie, it's not your turn.
Let me look at her.
It is not your turn. Zeke, to me, just because he lacked passion, that's not a deal breaker for me.
Zeke had passion.
But Keisha, one thing about that, he could get that. He had the passion once.
Yeah, he could be
get
taught
that passion back.
Right.
It just takes a little bit, and that passion could come back brand new.
Brand new.
Brand new. So stick with that. Just work it out, talk, communicate, and that passion will come back, and it'll be like brand new, girl.
Exactly. And you got to compromise a little. I've been Team Zeke from the beginning. But let's go to our Facebook group here to see what they are talking about. So Yolanda Johnson says, for now, I think Joyce should leave them both alone. Preston wasn't honest, okay, up front, and Zeke just not sure what he wants. Wow. Elsa Reed said neither one as well. And so, yeah, it seems like if someone had to go with someone other than Stephanie, Steph, if they had to go with someone, it would be Zeke. I think that if Preston had just, even with the phone calls, if he had just done something, that would have given him a strong chance with Joy. And Alex?
Yeah, because my thing is, when we got to the point where she was showing up to the salon, and Joy had already had the conversation with him about the phone calls. One, clearly he didn't have a conversation with her about it. And two, that, like everyone's been saying, it's dangerous at that point. Like the fact that he couldn't man up enough to make the decision, be like, hey, you're putting someone else's life at risk, possibly, was a huge red flag. But to play devil's advocate, just because you know someone really, really well, Zeke, doesn't mean you know everything about them. For example, Suzette, they knew her for years.
Oh, okay. I like that.
They knew her for years, but she had a secret that they just found out, 40 plus You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
I think it's a very interesting, dilemma that hopefully we find out more information about in the next book, Stephanie.
Oh, she's gonna get cornered.
I think it's very interesting that in terms of playing devil's advocate, she knows Zeke very, very well, but we also find out a little bit more about his romantic love interest in high school, Miss Deidre, who might be just as crazy as
Ooh.
Stella. Because honestly,
Oh,
Thank you, Alex. Thank you.
who possibly fakes a pregnancy?
Thank you,
Right,
Alex.
look,
Yeah.
Stephanie
That
says
almost
nobody's
scored it,
saying.
right?
Thank you.
And get a pastor involved.
And yes,
Get a pastor
Yeah,
involved.
and the
I'm
whole
like,
church,
poor
right?
Joy. She
And the
can't
church.
catch a break.
But it's funny because let me ask you guys this, and this is kind of to piggyback off Miss Pat here, and I think someone else had even mentioned it. Della's boldness kind of told me a story about Preston. Like as far as, we use Gloria said she didn't like to call a man weak, but since it's out there, I'm just gonna say it.
Mhm.
She felt as though, do we all agree that she felt as though even though we're gonna assume she took a flight from DC to Houston
Mhm.
just to show up at this girl's spa, came up with this whole, plan to disguise herself as a client, Miss Tyler. And then she came back home and was like, la da da da. Hey boo, how you doing? Come on in, have a seat. You want to talk to me about something?
Girl, she
It's
crazy.
almost like as if she was like, he ain't gonna do nothing, no way.
Psychopath.
Well, yeah,
Because he didn't.
Yeah, like
Because
you
he
said,
never did.
Yeah, exactly.
Didn't he leave for 2 years?
Yes.
True, exactly. And that plays a part too, Glory. 2 years, nothing has happened. So maybe she felt, confident. She was a savage. You're not going nowhere.
Well,
Mhm.
and
I don't
and
even.
back to last week when we were talking about it, he never confronted her about the Christmas incident. Yes, he finally did when he sat, when he went to the house after the hug and everything, but he never, so why would she not think that?
Right. Like I did that. He didn't.
Yeah,
he
and I
didn't
got
do
away with
anything.
it. Yeah.
I got away. What was you gonna say, Wanda?
Oh, I was just saying boldness. I don't know that it was so much about her being bold or about him being weak, because he could be a great, the passion that he showed, and even his surprise visit to Joy, and the way he kind of went after her in the beginning. I mean, I guess and throughout, that's to me easy for a man to do. The other part of a man that you need is a man that's going to be the protector, that's going to look out for you, that's going to have a strong persona and not going to be walked on by anybody, whether it's another man or another woman. So I don't know if it was so much about her being so bold, or maybe him not being strong enough. And if you think about Joy can do just about anything for herself. So it's not that she needs a man to provide for her and to do all these things. She needs a man that's going to make her first, and going to give her, protect her, that somebody she can feel good with, that she doesn't have to worry about any harm coming to her. And everything about Preston brought harm other than the physical aspect. If you think about it, emotionally as well as physically. So.
Yeah, because Della didn't know if Joy was going to throw up her fist with her. That's bold to come to somebody's, salon and basically curse them out. I mean, she was on the table getting a massage. Joy could have tried all kinds of stuff with her.
Yeah.
What were you going to say, Alice? And then I'm going to check on the folks in Facebook to see what their take is.
Yeah, I was going to say that, one thing that I realized as I been listening to everybody and thinking back kind of over the arch of what happened in this book, Zeke took notes and he followed through on them. Back at the beginning of the book where she sat him down, like, you need to make up your mind. I'm not waiting for you forever. Now we get to, the end of the book and he's finally popping the question. So I think, it's going to be an interesting thing going forward to see what unfolds between the two men, because they both have pros and cons.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's life.
Oh, exactly. Yes, Ms. Pat.
I think, we all have to examine ourselves. And I will say, when it comes to me, Nobody's in charge of me. So I don't need a man that's going to tell me what to do. He can't control my money, my time, or anything else. So Preston would be fine with me on account of I can run him, and that's how it's going to be. That is Stephanie, tell him. You got it. She already knows. Okay. No. I'm saying you gotta do what you gotta do for you. And for me, I have never, I had 2 men in my life, two married men. And neither one of them were ever in control of me. And here's my deal. This is what I do. I will not really enter into a relationship with anybody who does not love me more than I love them. Is, hey, you're always going to be sniffing after me, but I could care less what happens. You can adios, whatever. It'll never break my heart because I ain't love you that much anyway.
Oh my God. Y'all heard it here. Okay, go ahead and take that sip.
Take that
Miss
sip.
Pat,
Sip on that one.
and drop the mic on us like that. She is.
Oh, whew.
Oh, hey.
Oh, I'm gonna have to refill my glass on that one.
Right. I need to get myself together. She just told me to go off my thought pattern.
Oh,
Yeah, so it looks like there's a little battle going on here with the Facebook viewers. They're all talking about, so yeah. Oh, Steph chimed in to say, where is Team Preston? And Barbara said they left the building. That's cute. So everybody's kind of like yes and an amen and all that. That's hilarious. So, Miss Pat, you had a sort of an interesting perspective as far as a question you wanted to probe.
Yeah.
Here. So I'm gonna pass the mic over to you with this.
Okay. Well, we won't take up a lot of time, but what I wanted to say is, while I was reading the final chapters, it occurred to me that we always are rooting for the winners at love. We never think about the perception of the ones that are losing. And, you know, Deidre basically is a loser at that. Della. And at this point, Zeke, until he finds out what Deidre's deal is, and even Suzette, because when Suzette was at Tyra's house and she tried to have that rendezvous because the girls said, we're cool with everything, and that didn't turn out well. So, you know, I'm just saying, I mean, we need to just think about, do we learn from losing? Is there anything, any position in the love game? How do we look at the losers in love?
Like losers.
Barbara, she said like losers.
It's telling there's hope.
We leave them out there. We leave them hanging. We're just so rooting who won, but we just forget that the other people, I'm not saying that they need warm hugs, but do they learn anything? Did Della learn anything from all of her conniving?
Yes.
So Miss
Going to get what she wanted out of trying to trap Zeke.
So I don't know that. I think that first of all, I believe there's somebody for everybody, or everybody will choose to not have somebody. I mean, or people will choose not to have somebody. But I think for a person like Della has, it's hard to root for someone that does so many mean and conniving things to people. I mean, so, you know, for that. So if it's any winning for her, it's the right person in her life that's going to help her see where she needs to make some changes. And I think that might give her some winning. If it, someone like Deirdre, we don't know that she's lost yet, but if she's not telling the truth about the baby, I would say that she would have lost. But the other is whether or not they really had the heart that they thought they had, right, of the man that they were with. And even for Joy, the whole premise is whether or not she'll find that missing part for her throughout the story. And the other, and so is it that she allowed the physical aspect and the newness of Preston overwhelm what she may have thought in the way she methodically dealt with Zeke. You know,
Mhm.
Okay,
she did all those things.
I
So
like that.
it's, I mean, so I think that if the ones that have those challenges find someone that can be honest with them and they're willing to take the feedback and willing to see where they were wrong and see what love really is, and it's not about you know, bullying someone, then maybe, I mean, and I think that's why you see it. Now, Joy didn't do any of those things, and so I think that she will at some point find her true love. But it's going to probably be a mixture of both of those men and then something else.
And
You just
something
have
else.
to- yeah. So that's my thought.
I like
Great.
that. I like that. So, Steph,
But-
it's your turn. I'm sorry, your screen is a little blurry. I can't read that.
Okay, so Team Preston. I
Okay.
know everyone is Team Zeke, but just think about it. I mean, come on. Y'all want to be bored? I mean, come on now. Who wants to be bored? I mean,
No, you did not.
and also just think about it. Team Preston is not, you guys are focusing on Della. All I hear, I'm listening and I'm listening to Della,
Yeah.
how Zeke is dealing with Della. Let's just focus on how Preston is dealing with Della.
Mhm.
Let's focus on how Preston deals with Joy. Let's just forget Della.
Well, how
Hard
can you
to.
forget Della when she's the vital part of the story?
You beat her down and move on with your life. Come on now.
Now you should you shouldn't have to beat Della down. You have to beat Preston down. You can't beat the woman down.
Well, if she's showing up at my salon, I can.
Uh-oh. Okay, let's
Only because
no.
he, but
No. He's
allowing her. He's
not allowing her.
yes, he is. He need to just
And no.
Wait a minute, but Steph, finish your point, because I'm really anxious to see what we should be feeling from. Can you finish that for me, please?
You on that, Wanda.
I'm not feeling that.
Now, I'm going to be pulling covers with Preston, not with Della.
So,
Okay. I need that excitement in my life.
mm,
Preston is the one to bring it to me. And I'm like, Pat, I'm going to take a chance. I'm going to take a chance and I'm going to soar. I'm not going to be bored with Zeke. This is personal. This has nothing to do with where the story is going.
Mm-hmm.
This is personal. Just think about it. How many, you guys keep talking about, well, Preston is weak. Okay, yeah, Preston is. He does have a little weak side. But I done been on that roller coaster with Zeke. How many times? Over how many years? I mean, come on now.
but you said I do. Joy said I do.
Because she's just distraught over losing and she's settling. And that's one thing that we're not supposed to do is to settle. You got one shot at this life. Don't settle.
Mm.
And I guess at almost 40, you're right. You're right.
And at almost 40, and I'm not going to continue to go through a roller coaster with the same man up and down. Granted, yeah, he can bring the fire, but he brings it when he wants to,
Mm-hmm.
not on a regular basis. Because if that were the case, we wouldn't have the come to Jesus moment conversation that we had in the beginning of the book. We wouldn't even be to this point that she would even entertain meeting Preston or going on blind dates or online dating or whatever. If Zeke were doing what he was supposed to be doing in the beginning, and he's not.
All right, gavel down.
Gavel down. Okay, Alex, you go, and then Miss Pat has something to say.
Consistent.
You made your own book.
Right, go.
Okay.
I'm saying personal. This is personal. This is not the way the story is going, of course.
You mad with the book. Okay.
I'm mad because I don't have but one person on my team. That's why I'm mad.
They gave us a choice and
Right.
chose Zeke.
Maybe by the next question.
But at the end of the day, most of the people on the panel said that if it was in a real life situation, we didn't want none of it.
Neither.
But we took Zeke as our man out, you know.
That's why I'm mad, because I'm on a one-man team.
Oh, Lord. Okay, Alex and Miss Pat. I hope y'all help Steph's team with your comments. Go ahead, Alex.
So I can see, where Steph, the author, is coming from, and Steph as the individual is coming from.
Uh-oh.
I think so. From a personal standpoint, if I have someone who, while yes, it's been a roller coaster of ups and downs, for as long as I may have known this person, they never lied to me, at least as far as I know.
Mm-hmm.
However, Joy's relationship with Preston started out with a lie that she didn't even know about. So if you can't start a relationship off with honesty from the beginning, I was Team Preston for a while, a good long portion of this book. But then as we started seeing more and more about how he handled situations, leaving Della completely out of the picture in terms of, whatever, but in terms of how he responded to the reactions, the situations he was presented with, I don't know if that's someone I would want to ride into battle with. If I'm not going to have someone who's going to stand up and say, hey, what you're doing is wrong and you're endangering someone's life, this has to end, point blank, this is your ultimatum, we're done, then honestly, in general, I don't want anything to do with either of them because they both have issues. But if it comes down to the point where I don't know if I can trust that you'll stand up for me and protect me against somebody or a situation, because in a relationship, it's a give and a take. You have to. It can't all be just wonderful sex and, wonderful phone calls and I'll just show up at your place whenever, that kind of thing. There has to be equilibrium in terms of, yes, I'm wonderful at these things, but I will also protect you when the game is down. When that gauntlet is thrown and somebody's safety is possibly being played with, because crazy people are crazy. Like, yes, you can't, by just, saying, hey, we're done, you don't stop crazy. Crazy escalates.
All right.
So it's possible that Dela learns from the experience and says, oh my God, I can't do this again. Well, girl, we know she could also go fully off the deep end.
You know what she's capable of. That was my thing about with dealing with the baggage with Della, is that if this is what she's capable of doing now, the sky's the limit going forward. But anyway, Miss Pat.
Okay, so just to mention the protection situation, it would be wonderful to have a man or anybody else as protection, but see, I have God for that. So I don't really need any other person to protect me. That's covered for me. Mm-hmm. Now, the other thing I want to say is when because I'm old, okay? So when you're old, you just kind of have experience that you learned from it. So relationships start out as a puppy love. That's all cute. You have that for a while. Then you may be into some kind of little passionate thing. You do that for a while. And when you get to the point that you cannot be without each other, then you decide, okay, well, we have to be in a relationship. You get into the relationship, and then you start to realize there's work involved in this. This is not like we roll around in the hay every night. This is like we have bills to pay, we have things we have to do, we have a future to plan. And if you get any children in that future, what you need to be next is you need to be financial partners. You have to be partners. And what you do then is you divide up responsibilities. Kids go, you do this, I do that, blah, blah, blah. And then after about a good 18 to 20 years, when that's over with, you turn around, you look at each other and you say, what? Am I still here with you? What? Like that. Are you kidding me? What? I'm stuck with you now? I thought you were just my partner. Okay, so there's the deal. If you don't have that person who brought you that passion and fire at the beginning, it is not going to be at the end. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah, Miss Pat. Well, you know what? You almost sold me there. I was daydreaming about Preston for about 30 seconds.
Working on it.
But I think so, and I guess I wanted to talk about the protection. So, but I think, and the protection is not the physical. It's more about having my back and defending me, and that that's different. I mean, because again, I think all of us on this call can say that we're strong women and that we can take care of ourselves and we can defend ourselves and do whatever. But you want a man, especially in that situation, because we also have a tendency to go after the woman. But to me, the man should prove what he is and what's important to him.
Yeah.
That Joy didn't have a relationship with Della at all. She didn't know anything about her when all of this started. So it's not her place totally. She defended herself by, saying, okay, you're going to pay me or you're going to do whatever, but I didn't have anything to do with this. But I think he owns that spot for her. And to me, he didn't do that. That's the kind of protection I'm talking about. I'm talking about defending me. I'm talking about that I'm important enough to you that you're going to say to whoever is causing me some harm, you need to stop it. This is important to me and to not do it. So for that I do. I still think the defense. Now, where Joy is in her life, and that part I didn't put into the equation when I chose men, where she is in her life, if what she's looking for is passion, she's looking for some excitement across the country every now and then, or even if they were in the same location. To your point, Ms. Pat, at some point it's got to be that you care enough about me as a person that when those things don't work, that we can still work and we can still find out a way to make it work. So so from that perspective, I don't think she's trying to have any kids, maybe not at 40, 41, 42, or maybe, but if she is, that's a whole different story. And you really have to make sure you have a partner for that. Otherwise, she could do that by her now, before she even got with him. So I guess that would be my perspective on it.
Okay, well, going back over to the our Facebook team here. Something? Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, what I was wanting to say about the guy, you talk about Zeke and you talk about Preston, you have to think about, you got to compare apples to apples. What I know Preston is all of this right now, but what about in 5 to 7 years, as long as you've been, he may end up being the boring. He's exciting now because new is always exciting. So you can't call one passion exciting and the other boring, because get Preston 7 years down the road and he's done, all this excitement going with him.
Right.
Yeah. Those men that, all about the new. So let's not all forget about that.
Well, I will say you guys have brought up so many different perspectives. I didn't even think, my first perception was I thought Joy made her decision. I think when Zeke proposed to her, that was the little bit of quiet in the storm she was looking for. If you think about it, towards in the book, she was kind of in the mindset of breaking it off with Zeke until all this stuff happened with Della, and then he proposed. So it was kind of like, I just felt like she made her decision off the fact that it was a little bit of, that was that stability she could grab onto at that point. Finally, somebody wants to marry me. Somebody, like you said, somebody was putting me first, Wanda.
Okay.
Zeke showed that putting her first. But Miss Pat, like you said, you sold me. 20 years from now, I'm gonna look over to the side here and be like, I ain't really like you. And Miss Pat, you got a fan club here because I'm looking at our Facebook group and Nicole Rogers said, I'm on team Miss Pat. And so we have Yolanda here. Let me get myself together here. Shamel Lowry is team Preston. Shamel, tell us, why are you team Preston? I would love to hear your take on that. And Yolanda Johnson is saying Della showing up at Joy's salon could have been prevented had Preston had the conversation like he should have. And I totally agree with Yolanda.
I don't agree with that.
Yeah.
I don't.
Oh, you don't agree with that? Why not, Steph?
No. Because a woman is going to do what she wants to do. If she's determined to have that man, he can say what he wants to until he's blue in the face, but she's going to do it anyway.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, we can be some creatures of focus.
I think she's doing that because Preston kept giving her reason to believe that they could have something.
True.
And that's why I don't like how Preston handled it, because he kept giving her hope. During this whole time, he was having sex with her. Then he live with her for a little while. Then he's going back and forth. And even when he goes to break up with her, he gives her a hug. You don't need to give somebody a hug if you're saying goodbye.
Exactly.
Just like just give
Barbara and Alice don't do
Who
hugs.
was raised right.
that.
He was a gentleman raised with morals and values.
Nikki.
Yeah, I'ma just keep drinking.
Yeah. Well, I think at this point in the book,
Only you, Barb.
yeah. At this point in the book, and I think Joy too kind of is brought back to reality when Tyra, she's the good friend. She's excited. Oh, you getting married? Are you getting married? You just talked to Preston yet? It's like, that's not pretend. Like, last week it was all about Preston.
Yeah, but
Still
Tara is always the one on the up and up. She always wants everybody to be straight laced too. So
she is all about clearing the air.
Yeah.
But so yeah. Oh, Elsa Reed said yes, Miss Barb. So we have a little special treat for you guys. So Stephanie did, as I stated in part 2 and part 3 of our virtual review, she did a production of one of the chapters. And I don't know if you guys remember the chapter Heart Blocking. When she's talking to Tyra, when Tyra calls her and, it's kind of, being that good friend. Tyra's a good friend. We have to tell her she's a good friend.
Yeah,
she will check you in the nicest way to let you know, okay, we can ride this fantasy cloud, but you need to, do what's right. So Stephanie, oh, go ahead, Alex.
I don't know why, but whenever I read Tyra's name, I just immediately think of Tyra Banks screaming, "We were rooting for you." Because honestly, the more and more I think about it, I'm like, this is Tyra Banks.
Yeah, you know what? It's funny. If you guys watch Project Runway, she said that all the time. We're rooting for you. Yep, that's I like that.
But she's also the person who's going to keep it fully 100 with you.
And she's very fair.
Mhm.
I think she and I share that trait. I like to be very fair with my friends as well. But Stephanie did a production called Heart Blocking, and I would like to share it with you. But before we go into the production of Heart Blocking, we're going to talk a little bit behind the scenes about the book and the making of it. We have here coming in. Oh, okay. Coming in, she's connecting. Nicole Rogers. Hi, Nicole. Okay, she's getting situated here. Nicole happened to be the graphic designer for the book Joy Happened. Hi, girly. Can you hear us? Oh yeah, we can hear you. How are you doing?
Good.
Got you a little nature view. I'm jealous. So Nicole, I don't know if you've been tuning in, but it's getting hot and steamy over here. Team Preston, Team Zeke. I gotta ask you, Who are you, Team Preston or Team Z?
I think the adventurous, fun side of me would like to be Team Preston.
Uh-oh. Steph, you got somebody on your team now?
I always choose
You're on mute.
complicated rather than so I think I would choose Team
You
Preston.
choose Team Preston.
Not
Okay,
complicated, Nicole. It's called adventurous.
Yeah.
And go with the challenge.
And a challenge and some
And a
excitement.
You know,
Not complicated.
And some tears and some craziness.
you know,
Okay.
this is why me and Stephanie are sister-in-laws. You get it?
Mm-hmm.
We know what we're doing, right, Pat?
We're sister-in-laws. We're married to two brothers. You understand this situation.
You understand the situation? Okay.
Yeah.
So Nicole, tell us a little bit about your journey with working with Stef on Joy Happen, and how did you get the idea and concept? Huh?
Telling Nicole, be nice.
Oh, be nice. How did you get the concept for the design? And I'm gonna hold it up as you talk.
Okay, so I like to let the words kind of paint a picture for me as I'm reading. So I didn't want to give away too much. And Stephanie and I talked about images of a woman or parts of a woman that are sexy but not overly revealing. We talked about things like legs with like fishnets, or legs with high heels, things like that. And we just drew up a bunch of different ideas and concepts based on conversation. And in the end, I felt like showing confidence. Oh my goodness.
She may have frozen there for a minute. I think we have your sound, Nicole. You there? Okay, we'll give her a minute. But I didn't even pay attention to the detail of the back with the leg. Oh my God. So yeah, so that does hit her points on, the confidence, the drop. I see the drop dress here showing her back. Okay. All right. I'm always interested to know when the artists, create these book covers, what they have in mind.
I also like these the edges that look like they're either burnt edges or scalloped or whatever. The edges are beautiful.
The edges. Oh yeah, the trimming of the edges here.
The trimming of the edges are nice. Yeah.
As if it's like, the title says Joy Happened, but it's like something went down right here.
It's real clean. It's clean design.
I gave Nicole, when I was saying to be nice, I gave her sort of a hard time. And because she was coming up with these, what happened to mine? Hold on, I lost.
You're still on.
I'm still on, okay.
Yeah.
When she was coming up with these designs, I just kept saying no, no, no. And she's like, oh my God, I don't think I'm ever gonna get anything. I said, just keep going, because I don't know what I'm looking for until I see it.
Oh.
So then she came up with, she said, what about this? What about that? And we're like, okay, yeah, now that's it. So the back of the lady, and then the legs and the shadow. I mean, it exudes confidence, and it exudes just a powerful woman, which is all the characters in the book are, not just Joy, even though the focus is on Joy, but it's about strong women in some form or fashion. All the women are strong. So again, that's why I was saying to her to be nice, because it's not that I was giving her a hard time. It's just that I could only see it. I could only know what I want when I saw it. And that's what I had to apologize to her and say, just keep going. I'll know it when I see it.
You'll know it when you see it. Go ahead, Alex.
I like the fact that it's the back of the woman, because it lets you as the reader decide who that woman is.
Oh,
it could be Joy, it could be Deidre, it could be Della, it could be any of the women, which I think is a really interesting point, because when I first saw the cover, I was like, oh, that's interesting, and didn't think too much of it. But as I started reading the book, I was like, that could be any of them. I think that's, a beautiful message that a powerful woman doesn't have a specific face.
Absolutely.
I did like the fact that she kept the character faceless. I didn't even think about the fact that, it could be any of them, but I like the fact that it's like, it's almost like she's pondering. So she has her back towards you, but she looks good. So she got it together, but she's just kind of pondering right now.
It's a clean design. It's nice.
It is. Okay. So Nicole is trying to come back. She's having a little technical difficulties. We totally understand that. So I'm just going to say this. There is an epilogue within the book that kind of closes the chapter on some things. But I think we are going to pause on the discussion of the book, because if those of us who have the book have read it and know what happened towards the end. So I'm going to encourage those, especially out here in our Facebook family, you have to get this book, okay? Please do yourself a favor. If you've been tuning in, or if you're tuning in for the first time and this conversation is you're enthusiastic about what happens in this book, please do yourself a favor and go to www.stef, that's STEF Williams.net, and get your autographed copy. Stef, do you still have more autographed copies left?
We have a few left. We do.
Okay, great. And also, the good thing about going to her website, sign up for her email list, because Stef is going to, when she starts doing book tours for her Love Calls and things of that sort, and when Love Call gets released, those who are on her email list get, first dibs on the book, and they also get a discount. So definitely make sure you go to her website and sign up and follow her and keep going, because when Love calls, look, we're going to have to pick up the phone and find out what happens. So speaking of Love Calls, I know, Stephanie, you're going to have to be reserved about a lot of things, but I'm going to see what I can get you to crack on, okay? Y'all support me here. I need to know about Brother Damon. That character coming in on chapter 30 just threw me off. I was like, we got one more. This is the last chapter. What is he getting ready to do? So ending with, that's some of the reason why I wanted to end there with Dr. Damon. Ending there with Dr. Damon, when you wrote that, what was your mindset as far as, I don't know, when you finished writing, Joy Happened, if Love Call was on your mind, or if you already knew, you already had that, set up as to how you're going to write this series. I don't know. I'm not an author. I'm not that creative. But I'm just interested to know, what was your mindset when you added that ending?
Well, it was no way that the book could end, because there were too many characters, there were too many twists and turns, and life just doesn't end like that.
That's true.
So when I ended the book, I knew it was going to be a continuation.
Okay.
So it was just a direction on how to go into the continuation and keep the twists and turns and the excitement still going. So Dr. Damon is going to be a key character in this book, in When Love Calls, as well as a few other ones. And we'll get a chance to meet more of the sisters, and not just, the focus is not going to be on Joy, but the Joy saga does continue. And we get to, peep into the lives of the other sisters, which has some twists and turns that just continues, because life is just about twists and turns. And again, the stories have some truth to them, and the situations and names have been changed to protect the guilty.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it was written as to continue, to be continued. Yes. And you will meet Dr. Damon. Yes.
All right. I was just checking our Facebook group. They're still talking about the previous subject here. But So Dr. Damon is in the next book. I'm gonna be honest with you. When I was finishing chapter 30, I was thinking the way you initially presented all the characters, technically each one of them could have their own book.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they could.
Yeah.
They really could. Suzette definitely could have her book.
Break them out.
You know, Carmen could have her own book.
Mhm.
You know, so you definitely set it up. I don't know how many sequels or how many, you know, books are going to be entailed with starting with, you know, with The Joy Happened, but bravo to you and your writing style with this. I have thoroughly enjoyed discussing this book. It has been a pleasure. Like I said, I've made friends with these characters, you know, going back and forth with you guys, like, as if we can change the writing of the book. Getting on Preston and Zeke and their behavior and tactics and rooting for our favorite characters. And, you know, our heart mourns for Joy as she tries to find true love. I totally related to this book because my decision making I'm 41. So my decision making at 41 for love versus when I was 20, I probably would have been Team Preston in my 20s.
Mm-hmm.
But stopping at, you know, before he found out that Deidre's pregnant, I would have totally went for Zeke. Only because he seems like the safe choice. And at this point in my life, I just need somebody to love me more than I love them. That's all I want. Just love me more than I love you.
And it's nothing wrong with that either, Keisha.
Nope. But as Stef threw the curveball, which she's famous for, we don't know about Miss Deidre.
True.
You know.
Sure don't.
You know,
and we're gonna see if Team Preston and because there's not really a Team Preston. If Team Zeke continues,
it's just a small team, Steph.
It's a small
team. Yes, we're gonna see if Team Zeke continues.
Are you gonna kill him?
Uh-oh.
You never know. You're gonna have to read.
They'll make him bad, so we have to turn and dislike him now. Don't
I'm gonna make y'all be like.
Because I know you Team Preston. To a monster. Get everybody on Preston.
You know, we 50-some. We need to get back to Miss Pat. The excitement after the children are gone.
Go Miss Pat.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, but that's it.
Hey, you never know. So we're gonna see if you guys continue Team Zeke.
All
well,
right.
You definitely have some fans in your corner, and and I encourage everyone, please connect with Steph and follow her, because love calls, I don't know what's going to be on the other end of that phone. But I'm going to be tuned in to see, okay? And so we're going to try to, what I'm going to do is play the production. Oh, did someone else have a question? I'm sorry.
No, I'm saying I'm going to call her every week. I want to know when
You couldn't hear it all?
No, not audio.
Oh, wow. Okay. Didn't know that. It was coming through.
We kept saying we couldn't hear.
Okay. Well, it was coming through loud and clear. I'm thinking y'all watching it.
What channel?
I muted you guys so I could, so the people can hear the video and not.
Yeah, and I think we could hear when you were not muted, because I just heard the soundtrack in the back. But let's just copy and paste the link.
So I see that Nicole is back. Hi, Nicole.
Hi.
Welcome to the silent party. Well, I do apologize for that. What we'll do is copy the link of the video in the chat comments. And also, if you go to Stef's, I know on her Facebook page, author Stef Williams, that's STEF, she has the video there. Boy, you guys missed it. I was up here watching it like it was, I was looking for my popcorn. Sorry you couldn't hear. But so So yeah, so definitely, and that was a good. I think I'm with Ed Gordon. That was a good chapter to reflect, and probably was a more of a cost-conscious chapter, considering it was a conversation between Joy and Tyra, and we see going throughout the book that seems to be her go-to friend. I remember Barbara said in our first segment that is always like a friend that you're a little bit closer as far as like confiding and things like that, with one particular friend more so than the others. And I think in this case, it was Joy and Tyra. That was like her ace coon boom. I don't know if you guys feel the same.
Well, yes. It was her roommate, wasn't it?
Say that again.
Wasn't Tyra her roommate?
You know what? I would have to go back in. I can't remember if that was her roommate or not. I know they all went to UNCG together.
Is Stephanie here? I mean, she could tell us. I know that it was 4 of them, but there were 2 and 2. So we'll find out. No problem.
Okay. All right. So Nicole, I know you got cut off. I want to give you a chance to finish what you were saying with regards of the book before we close out.
Okay. So my mission was to show confidence and beauty and sexiness as well as mysteriousness without giving too much of the reader, like giving them a view of what she looked like or mannerisms or anything like that, giving them a chance to do what I said before, give them a chance to read the story and picture her features and her mannerisms and kind of paint a picture themselves.
Okay. Well, I think you and captured all of that with your book design. And before you went out, we were talking about this rip on this end scene here. What was this?
Oh, the torn part. Yeah. Yes. Torn between. I think Stephanie and I discussed like her being torn between the 2 guys,
Zeke and Preston.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Artistry defined. I get it.
Good job.
Good job. So guys, this has definitely, oh, hi there, Steph. This has definitely been a journey. I just wanted to let you guys know, especially you as panelists, because you kind of been on this joy ride the whole time. I've gotten an overwhelmingly response regarding us doing these virtual book reviews, a little bit more than I had anticipated. People are enjoying the platform. They even have their favorite panelists. I'm getting shout outs from all of y'all, but I have to say, Jay, you got the biggest fan club. I don't know what that means. Miss Pat, Nene will probably fall in next. But you guys, y'all got a crew out there that's rooting for y'all. So having said that.
Okay, well, hold on now. Can you tell us what's being said?
I don't want to know. Jay.
Maybe not. Oh, it's all good stuff. It's all good stuff. Yeah, they think you are, they watch, they tune in. Just like with any show, you tune in for your favorite characters. Not to call y'all characters, but
Jay, you're a character, not me.
Right. So yeah, I'm telling you guys, yes, I totally am a little overwhelmed, I'm just excited because I'm gonna keep this ball going. Yes. We're gonna take a week off, of course, but we're gonna come back and hopefully your schedules will allow you to continue to be panelists. I will definitely reach out to you and let you know ahead of time what we're going to be doing next. You guys have to stay tuned. And if anyone out there, especially with our Facebook crew, if you can, think of a virtual event that you want to do or you have an idea, please email us. You can go to www.blue, and that's blue without the letter E, so BLU, print to events, and at gmail.com. So blueprint2events at gmail.com. Yes, Ms. Pat.
I have to say something at the end. All right, so I'm kind of thinking that this is working so well. Mm-hmm. We need to be a new reality show.
Okay. I'm with
like to read a book and listen to panelists talk about it. Besides the fact that I know my sister Stephanie will wow everybody.
Oh, Pat.
We're done.
That is so sweet.
Thank you,
Dad,
everybody.
how much she paying you?
So,
Right. Where's your cash app, Miss Pat?
Because
got
if
food,
you would pay
baby.
me, I would say that stuff too.
Let's put it on. We're gone.
How much you getting paid, Pat? Give it up.
You know, I'm not that worried about the money. I'm more worried about the
Oh,
word
you are getting paid.
now. I'm just working for her.
Well, she definitely, she definitely outdid herself with this book. And again, I know we've said it 1,000 times, but I can't, and I mean every time I say it, I can't wait for Love Calls to come out. So given that you guys are so popular now, any last words before we go out? Oh, yes, Stephanie.
Just bear with me for a second. Jay.
Yes.
We cannot end this, y'all. I know we're running over, but I need to know from you, from your perspective, why would Preston not tell Joy he was married? And why would he not confront Della and tell Della to leave Joy alone? Because everybody's saying Preston is weak. So I just need you to give me 60 seconds of what you think.
We need to hear that.
60
Well,
seconds, a minute.
First off, I think that he was scared that if he told her he was married, that she would flee.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because a lot of women think that, separated is still married, which it is. But if you're living in separate households, that's one step to moving on. You can't help it. In some states, you have to be divorced. I mean, you have to be separated for a year before you can start the divorce proceedings.
Okay.
As I stated, I waited 1 year to the day. I waited on the 366th day, I filed.
That 366 gets me every time.
But is Preston weak for not telling Della to leave Joy alone?
Yeah, I believe so. So sometimes you just had to put it out there and see what happens. I was the type, hey, I put it out there, look, I'm separated, blah, blah, blah. Whether you elect to, we living in separate households, it's up to you whether you want to continue. It's different if you say I'm separated, but we still living in the same house, then you're not separated.
Yeah, but Della was harassing Joy because she didn't want, she wanted Preston back. Della is Preston's ex-wife or current wife.
She was
so
stalking.
She was stalking Joy, and Joy finds out that Joy finds out that Preston didn't tell Della to leave her alone. So she's like, I can't depend on you. You leave me out here to defend Della on my own when you are right there with her. Tell your wife to leave me alone. So is he weak for that?
And again, he should have came correct and said, look, leave her alone. I mean, sometimes you got to put that foot down because, some women hate to see you happy and moving on.
Okay.
They want to throw a monkey wrench in your new situation, and both of y'all, all three of y'all can be miserable. Well, both of y'all can still be miserable together.
Right.
Did you see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So would you tell the woman to chill out?
Yeah, I would tell her chill out. You need to back up. We're not together anymore.
There you go.
I moved on.
That's what I was waiting for you.
And
So
you
he
need to
didn't
move
tell her.
on as well.
He didn't tell her initially. So does that make him weak?
Yes, it makes him, it gives him a hidden agenda because it's leaving that door open. Remember what I said, is leaving that door open for you to go back over there. You see, you got to put it all out there and say, look, this is what's going on. I moved on. That's why there's baby mama drama. Because you still creeping back with your baby mama, and then you bring a new girlfriend into the equation, but you still sleeping with your baby mama. And she has every right to be pissed off and spaz out because you sitting there telling me it's giving her hope.
That's right, Jay.
You see what I'm saying? If she think that there is a chance, but if you put it out there, look, I have a new lady, I moved on, leave us alone, and you need to go get yourself a boyfriend or something where y'all can do y'all thing because I'm doing my thing.
All right, Miss
Don't
Pat,
go
what's your
back to
response
no
to that?
salon.
I'm sorry.
Trying
Say that
to be
again,
a
Gloria.
wax. I said, don't go back over there to that.
No, you can't. You got to wash your hands and be done with it. Hey, look, and sing happy birthday 3 times.
Sing it 3 times.
You know, they say when you wash your hands the right way, sing happy birthday twice.
Oh, I didn't even know that. You're right.
Right. I said in this case, you need to sing happy birthday 3-4 times to let them know that your hands are clean and you're done with it.
So Jay is talking about the coronavirus, clean your hands up thing.
Right, exactly.
I want to ask about what was going on with the fact that Zeke was dealing with Deidre while the whole thing was going on, and while Preston was still
flirting with Della.
Yes. Why was all that going
on? It was just a love rectangular, Pat. I can't even tell you. Not a triangle, but a rectangle. I mean,
nobody was really. So everybody had to have somebody in the meantime, instead of everybody being clear to get their shit together.
So Preston ain't weak by himself. Zeke is weak.
Yeah, but Zeke's a different type of weak.
And I'm saying, I'm still with Preston only because I'm not going to live a life of a mundane life. So, I'm just saying, I'm just the kind of woman. You're not going to tell me what to do every day. I can go where I want to go. I can spend my money how I want to spend my, it's not going to be like that. So I understand if you got a Zeke, that's cool for the people that like that safe life.
Mm-hmm. But we want fire, don't we, Miss Pat? Yes.
I'm sorry. I'm just in charge of me. And anybody who wants to be in my game can roll out because I never loved them more than I love myself. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, thank you for allowing me to get that information, that feedback from Jay.
Oh, no, definitely. Look, that's what it's for. I want to hear all different perspectives because it talks about the different angles of relationships, and you threw so many different scenarios in here. So everyone is like taking a second thought, even though everyone has their person they think Joy should be with, but everybody has a little hesitation even with their answer. We proved it here with the panelists, especially for those that say, well, I wouldn't choose any of them, but if I had to, you created that type of possible impossible situation. So, and that's enjoyable. That's the art of the book.
Okay, well, thank you.
We need to know about the roommate.
The roommate. Oh, yeah. Stephanie, when you stepped away for a moment, Miss Pat was trying to, we were reflecting back on the first show where Tyra and Joy, were they roommates in college?
They were roommates in college.
Oh, okay. So we cleared that up. Well, guys, we definitely have had tons of fun with this. I am super excited. Sorry again about the video. Maybe I'll try to play it again after we end for those people, the Facebook watchers who didn't get to see it. I kind of feel bad about that. But again, I've enjoyed this. I appreciate you taking this ride with us. We are definitely going to move forward with more virtual events, even after the quarantine is up, and hopefully that's, soon within reason. And I hope all of you your schedules are available for you to come back. Again, you have fans now, so, you gotta appease your fans.
Absolutely.
Let's just say I'm the original Nene, not the one from the Atlanta Housewives.
Okay. Now, you know what? You are too.
Yes, I
the original Nene.
I was Nene before there was a Nene on Atlanta Housewives.
You really was.
Right.
And I'm going to say that. Yes, she was. So anybody else have anything before we close out?
I want to say I'm so proud of my sister Stephanie.
Thank you, Pat.
It's like
Thank
the best book that I've had in years. I have circulated it, given it around. And listen, and my sister said to me, "You're doing you're doing a Zoom on that book? I love that book."
Oh, that is so sweet.
Thank you.
You
I
got
appreciate it.
Steph, how much you paying Pat?
all of your
Love.
ability.
What she's getting.
You want what she's getting?
Yes.
Some love.
Love, love, love. Thank you, sister.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Mhm.
And thank you, Takesha. I
Oh,
appreciate
absolutely. This has
Thank you,
been
Keisha.
a joy.
A great host.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
All right.
Thank
Absolutely.
you.
Excellent. Yes, you are.
Well, it has been fun for me. You know, definitely taking my mind off what's going on in, you know, the real world.
Absolutely.
So,
Fun.
It was
yes,
fun.
it has
It was
been
a lot
fun.
of fun. And I have some insight too.
Oh, and that's the whole purpose. We wanted to give you some insight for Love Calls.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, Nicole, I do want to thank you for coming on and sharing. You know, literally at the last minute, you agreed to come on, and thank you for that. I appreciate it.
No, thank you for the
Nicole, do
invite.
you want to? It's fun. Do you want to tell people how they can reach you, in case there's any other authors out there, and maybe, or anyone just looking for a graphics designer? How can folks reach out to you?
Sure. My email is rnicole8@gmail.com. My phone number is 984-245-6336.
All right. Got a
There's
little.
my contact.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Okay.
Those are the
the
two
chat.
forms of contact.
Okay, Nicole, do us a favor and comment it in the Facebook chat group. There was a little bit of buffering when you were going in and out, and just in case that one person wanted to hear it and couldn't catch it, we're gonna make sure they can be able. Okay, reach out to you. All right, guys. Well, everyone that's listening and our panelists here, again, thank you. If you want any other ideas for any virtual events, I have a couple that I'm trying to solidify, so I can definitely announce. I hope to be doing that this week sometime, this upcoming week sometime. But if you have any ideas or any other authors that you want to feature, email me, and we can see what we can do. All right. Any closing remarks or anything, Stephanie?
No, other than I appreciate it. This was definitely a wonderful opportunity for me to express my creativity. And I'm so glad that everyone is enjoying it. I thank the panel. I thank you for your insight. I thank Facebook and everyone that had a hand in this. And let's just see when Love Calls takes us. We'll see. We'll see.
Well, bravo to you. Good job. Good job. Definitely.
We love you. Stay blessed.
All right. So guys, we're going to try to show the video again, but we're going to officially close. So I'm going to try to play the video again as we head out, but you guys stay safe and stay healthy.
Yes,
and
please.
I hope to see you guys within the next couple of weeks for our next virtual event.
Yeah. Thank you, Takesha. It's wonderful.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Love y'all.
Keisha, you've done an excellent job. And it was,
oh, thank you.
And I was telling Stephanie a week or so ago, let you know you've done an excellent job and are doing an excellent job. And I also wanted to comment about Stephanie, the book. I love it. I read it a little, a couple of years ago when several years ago, but reading it again has been a joy.
Yes, it has.
And Stephanie's writing, she's so creative. She's so detailed. You can imagine everything. And I'm just so proud of her. And, I saw another side of her. I knew she's always, a brilliant young lady, but just seeing that creativity that she has in writing is just been awesome. I just been so proud, and I'm just like,
Oh,
wow.
I love you. And Gloria, I did not pay Erica either. Thank
paid her.
you.
How much she paying you?
Hey, Steph.
Yes.
Hey, Steph, I remember years ago when you was just starting out. Does this look familiar?
Oh, is that a DVD?
A DVD. Yeah.
This look familiar, Steph? Remember
Yes,
the
it
book
does.
signing?
Yes, I remember.
There
I
you go.
remember.
I still have it.
That is
Thank
hilarious.
you.
Mm-hmm.
Mark of a true writer. Your fans are still hanging with you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Proud of you, sis.
Yes, thank
And
you.
keep me out of your books.
Keep her out of book.
No.
Well, I you know, hey, if I can add to the writing material, hey, whatever.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
And for those who don't know, the alter ego of Stephanie is Nikki.
Look,
you don't know who I'm talking about.
Oh,
Listen to Prince.
Barbara, what you say now?
I said her alter ego is Nikki. And if you
okay, that explains it.
And if you like Prince, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Listen to Darling Nikki.
Darling Nikki.
Gotcha.
Great job, Stephanie.
Thank you, my BFF. Thank you.
We got Nikki in the residence. Come on, girl. Come on down, girl.
I appreciate the love from all of my family, my childhood girlfriend, my college girlfriend, my sister, niece, my what is that, Nene? Lord, Erica and I used to follow Nene around in high school. Love you all. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I do. And my darling niece.
Stay blessed.
Okay.
What did you do? You started it, Keisha?
So I'm gonna give it a shot. Why not, right?
Okay, let's see what happens. It's still buffering.
Okay.
Yes, they both are. Yeah.
You look beautiful, Stephanie.
I was going to say the same thing and say, at least you're beautiful. Love
Thank you.
Looking at you over and over again is lovely.
Well, thank you. And we'll just have to post a clip.
Yeah, we're gonna post
in
it.
chat.
Be happy when we see it.
Yes.
All right,
Yes,
love
yes,
y'all.
yes.
I'm out, baby, for the night.
All righty.
Have a good night.
Good night.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Good
Bye,
night.
everybody.
Good
Love
night,
y'all.
everybody.
Thank you.
I look forward to seeing y'all the next time. I'll be here. I'll make myself available.
All
Thank
right,
you,
Jay. I
Jay.
like that.
Thank you. Thank you.
You
That's
got a
right.
fan club.
Yes, Jay, you do.
You can't tell me what's being said because I can't see it.
I'll tell you offline what's being said. And look, I don't think everybody knew that you were you did some scripts for some movie productions also. We didn't say that. So
Yeah, but I didn't want to steal your shine because it was all about you.
Oh, that's not all right, darling.
No, but yeah, I'm a screenwriter myself. I wrote 2 features and 3 shorts. They haven't been produced yet. I'm still trying to get it out there. I won my comedy won Best Comedy in the West Coast Film Festival in 2019.
Absolutely.
And so that let me know that I was on the right path.
Absolutely.
And it's just a matter of getting into the room with the right folks. That's the hard part, but it's a pretty funny comedy. I think you guys would enjoy it because it gives positive feedback from those who have read it. So it's just hard getting your foot in the door, but I'm not going to stop trying.
Yeah, absolutely. Perseverance. Yes.
I'm going to shout it from the rooftops if I ever get it that close to being put into production.
Well, remember your panel when you do.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Hey, look, that would be great to have it made and give you guys a screening, and then we can come on and we can talk about it. That would be great.
That would be
Look, let's speak it
awesome.
into existence. We're
That
gonna do
would be
it.
awesome.
And before
Yes.
we officially go, I do want to say Nicole posted her information in the Facebook comments, and all I'm going to say it's Bella Blue Graphics, and her email address is rnicole8@gmail.com, and you can also reach her at 984-245-6316. All right.
Okay.
All right.
All righty. Well,
All
thank
right,
you.
guys. I hate to let you go, but
No, we're like, this is like ending.
I know it's like a
ending.
relationship.
Yeah, I know, right?
You guys have a good night. You guys take
Thank
care.
you.
And I'll
All
see you
right.
in a couple of weeks.
All right. Take care.
Okay. All right, everybody.
Bye.
Take care.